I guess when Doctor Strange meant that they're in the end game now, I guess they were talking about Spidey, huh? Hey everyone, this is from Very Geek. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I don't usually do. Obviously this is more of a reaction gameplay kind of channel and like just anime stuff. But Spider-Man has been a very important character to me in my life, so this story is a big story, and I wanted to wait a while until I started talking about it because there's so many things that can happen while developing stories as they do happen because they're developing. I didn't want to just see the first article and then jump on the bandwagon and make a video because obviously there's probably a fuck ton of videos already out there talking about Spider-Man, but here's my video and my thoughts because I don't care. I just want to give my thoughts out. So they basically, Disney and Sony, there's no more MCU Spider-Man. Spider-Man will no longer be included in the MCU until further notice, until another agreement happens or something of that like. But basically, the original agreement between Sony and Marvel or Disney was that 95% of the box office shares would go to Sony, 5% will go to Disney. Now that seems like a little bit, but then the other parts of the agreement, I believe, were like that Marvel would get all merchandising funds, like everything, including toys, comics, everything. All the merchandising stuff, like T-shirts, pants, and all that, that would go 100% to Marvel or Disney. So that's a lot of money. So it was kind of balanced in that sense, and not only that, you would have them using the Spider-Man character for the other Avengers films. So, and I don't believe Sony did not get any like money from those films that Spider-Man was in. The only money that Sony got was from his solo films. So it, to me, balanced down. It was pretty much okay because when you really think about it, box office, sure, that's about 4 or 5 months of money. Merchandise is year round. You got Christmas, you got gifts, you got Spider-Man controllers, you have PS4 controllers and all that crap. You have all the merchandising and all that crap going year round, whether for Christmas, Halloween, costumes, whatever. It's year round, so that's constantly gaining more and more money, especially because in terms of media, Spider-Man and Batman are probably the only two characters in like film that can carry a franchise on their own with their own set of people. But yeah, so to me, and then basically what caused the split was the defining factor was Sony did not want to agree with Disney's new terms because pretty much the way I see it, Disney basically just nutted up because they were like, okay, we made you $1 billion with Far From Home. So they were like, we have the clout, so I'm a nut up. And they were like, all right, we want 50% of your box office shares now. So the original deal was 5% and they jumped to 50%. So to me, that's a little bit too much. Now you're saying, oh, well, it's probably fair. They're the ones that made Spider-Man popular again or whatever. Listen, Spider-Man as a character, even with the bad films, and I'm going to show you right now with this, even with the bad films like Amazing Spider-Man 2, $708 million, nearly $1 billion. I know people love seeing $1 billion. That's their defining factor. Amazing Spider-Man 1, 757. Oh, look, Spider-Man 3, another bad one, right? Almost 900 million, almost $1 billion, and these are quote unquote some of the bad movies, and it made more than Spider-Man Homecoming. So look, Spider-Man it has the staying power to maintain its own franchise because Spider-Man is just that popular. Spider-Man will be fine on their own. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because Disney is probably the one that's going to get impacted the most because of Spider-Man. Ironically, because they wanted to do this. Because you have to think about it. Sony could just take Spider-Man like they're doing, leave, and be like, okay, well, you guys are like... Because also, there are reports that Sony literally tried compromising with them even after the fact, according to the articles. And I'll put them down in the description below. You can check them out yourself and make your own opinion. They even tried compromising with Disney, but Disney said no. So Disney just wanted the 50-50. Like I said, they already own and the fact that they also wanted to somewhat control some of the side stories or side movies, like probably more than like the Venom, to get them probably in the MCU somehow, which again would have been dope. Don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong, even though I'm siding with Sony, I'm still sad because I would have loved to see more Spider-Man interact with like the X-Men, Wolverine, possibly bring Venom into the MCU and all that. All of that would have been dope, trust me. but Disney just overstepped their bounds, and to me, they were in the wrong for this. And yeah, so they also wanted to control like some of the side stuff, which I thought was like crazy too. Like they pretty much borderline wanted the character back. Now I know everyone says like yeah, give them the character and all that, but there needs to be competition for films. DC's not doing competition right now really all that well. They decided to obviously they stepped back and they're doing their own thing with Aquaman, Wonder Woman 2, and Joker and all that. So let them rock. But there needs to be competition for Marvel, because Marvel's not the only Marvel studios. They have the best track record, but not even all of their movies are great. But they don't have competition, and people, literally 90% of people that see a Marvel film nowadays, I'm pretty sure if they're an MCU fan, 90% of the time they'll be like, oh, if it's made by MCU, it's not going to be good. A lot of people think that, which obviously isn't true, because you have films like Logan, you have films like Spider-Man 1 and 2, you have films like Deadpool 2 is, to me, it was like it was slightly better, because I just had a lot more fun watching it, but there are other companies that can make films, so it was a bit out of pocket of Disney to try and just grab everything from basically almost everything from Sony, especially because that's their big money maker. The problem that I see with Disney though is because I always had an issue with the Spider-Man MCU films, because that they kept pushing this whole surpassing Tony Stark agenda, and becoming the next figurehead of MCU. They put all this pressure and all this storyline into this character, which to me didn't make any sense, because at any point in time this could happen. Sony could just bail out, and then they can't make no more MCU movies that are connected. But they literally ingrained Spider-Man with the Iron Man character. Whether or not this was a smart foresight, like Sharingan, mental thing that Disney had, that they were like, well, let's do this to squeeze and dig into the fans. So now look and be like, hey, you guys can't take him away. He's literally the main figurehead of the MCU now. Because Spider-Man, if you haven't seen Far From Home, maybe slight spoilers, Spider-Man has Tony's glasses, which control all his AI. That's a huge plot device. Spider-Man got exposed by his identity by Quentin Beck to the world, or to New York at least, from what we saw. So, and he has all this tech from Tony. His suit is literally from Stark, or not he didn't make it, but he made it from Stark Technologies on Happy Hogan's jet. And not only that, you got the character of Happy, who was there was some weird brewing romance with them. Now he's just gonna disappear. So it's such a fascinating thing. Again, this by doing that, I don't know if Marvel or Disney just made a power play by ingraining the fans and everything with this Iron Man thing. That's just a conspiracy thing, but that's such a interesting thought to have, because literally and then for Sony's end, according to they're going to continue, because they have 2 more Spider-Man films directed by the same director and starring Tom Holland. So there's 2 more in development that's still gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen though. Is it gonna be a reboot? More than likely not. Is it gonna continue the story? But how are they gonna wrap around? They could continue the Mysterio story, but the problem is Mysterio was connected to Tony, and the motivate. Again, that's an issue I have with the Spider-Man films, that all of Tony, his villains originated from Iron Man in some way, shape, or form. So it's gonna be definitely tricky and interesting. Again, I think Disney were a little bit scummy for doing pushing that whole thing, because I know they know the backlash that Sony's gonna get, because we know how MCU fans are and how fans in general, fandoms, people get mad, people get rabid, they're gonna attack, they're gonna scream and shout, people are gonna have meltdowns on Twitter. So people are definitely gonna look at this, and and I'm pretty sure that's gonna apply some pressure to both, because there's some pushback for Disney as well. There's not just all Sony, so it's a very interesting thing. But this is pretty much the story, and until further notice, Spider-Man's out of the MCU. So with all that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Are you happy he's gone from the MCU? Do you think we'll get a more traditional Spider-Man in the sense of a more grounded to earth, Tobey Maguire type Spider-Man? Or did you want him to stay in the MCU for the crossovers, and did you like his movies and all that? Let me know down below about that, because Spider-Man is the best character to me. Everyone can identify with him in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, this is sad to hear, but only good thing, maybe possibility, is that we'll get a Venom crossover now. So you can look at that, Tom Hardy Venom with the Spider-Man, so that'd be pretty fucking dope, but we'll see. Well, that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe for new, share the video out if you enjoyed, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and my Snapchat, and I hope you all have a great night. Bye, guys.